Ready, hunt!
Thank you, Michael. Going back through here, reviewing the Texas Tech game, it's what I really said after the game, and after reviewing it and studying it, it's like I said, I felt that we really, through the second quarter and the opening series of the third quarter, we just got badly outplayed, and when I say outplayed, I mean outperformed on the field, and I mean outcoached. In us, it's our job to have our players ready to execute what we're trying to do, whether it's coverage, whether it's offensive schemes, back and forth. But either way, there's a period of time where they score their opening drive, we score our opening drive at 7-7, and go back and forth for the first quarter, and then the second quarter really is where everything fell out. We have a missed field goal. They score a touchdown. We have a fumble. They score another touchdown. We go 3 and out, and 4 straight times after that on offense. And defense through the second quarter gives up 17 points. So there we are, 24 to 7. And then the opening drive we have the ball coming out at halftime. Go 3 and out again. And they go down and score another touchdown. So you're in a situation where you're 31-7, and I appreciate the players hung in there, battled back, gave ourselves some chance there at the end to have a chance to tie it or to win, and couldn't do that either. And so anyway, give Tech the credit. They really executed the way they needed to in all parts of the game, meaning to build that lead, they covered us better than we were able to get open and execute passing game or enough running game. They out-executed us throwing the football and us trying to cover them, and made some big plays and did what they needed to build a lead that we weren't able to come back from. There's a lot of areas, obviously, that we've got to continue to work to improve on. And the guys yesterday had a really good attitude in the way they came to practice and watched it, studied the tape, and so hopefully we can go out this week and make some improvements. I know the players are determined to do that, to work hard and to keep pushing forward. Kansas State going there up to Manhattan this week is a major challenge. Here you have a team 7-0, has really played well and continues to play well. They're offensively, they do the best job maybe of anyone, or they're right up there with anybody rushing the football, and the way they find different ways to run the football, and they're doing a great job taking care of the ball. I think they lead the league, or they're second in the league maybe in turnover margin. And defensively, they've been very disciplined and structured and good in how they play. I think they're 1 in total defense and 2 in scoring defense. I think we're first in scoring defense, and they're right behind us, real close. So. Again, a team that's really playing well, and we know it's always a ruckus environment going up there to Manhattan to play, so it'll be a big challenge, but I know, our players are, excited about that opportunity.
Why do you think the defense has been so inconsistent?
Well, there's no one area, it's just, the other night we just were, I think, too, it's fair to say, just it depends on, too, other personnel you're playing against. I guess, they the other night really just out-executed us in the passing game and what we were able to do to cover them.
Bob, you had to make a move midway through the game in your secondary. How do you hope to line up against Kansas State in the secondary?
We'll see. We'll mix it up, with Aaron playing at corner some, and Sam at safety, and or Gabe at corner and Aaron at safety, but there's still hope. We'll know towards the end of the week if Jamel can be back. He's looked really good, so we'll see. That's obviously a big plus if he can get back.
He's looked really good in recovering or just playing?
In recovering.
Bob, Aaron said that there was a players' meeting. What do you know of it, and what do you take? How do you look at players' meetings in general?
you'd have to ask them. I wasn't in it. So, and I don't try and find out what goes on, you know. So at the end of the day, I'm sure it was positive, you know.
Bob, you talked about, you saw some signs, poor practice and focus last week. What are those signs of a bad practice or lack of attention even on pregame meetings?
Well, that's you're going through some walkthrough adjustments, and you don't make the proper adjustment, or you know, a guy's late making it, doesn't recognize what you're trying to do, or you know, offensively there's more drops than you're used to, or having to repeat more plays on, you know, and who we're blocking, or where the spacing of the route's supposed to be. You know, there's a lot of little signs.
You do the over, I guess, what do you do when you see
You
that?
go, you do it again, but at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's setting a bad, you know, you can tell it's not as sharp as it needs to be.
Is Ward going to play this week?
I believe so, yes, as long as something unusual doesn't happen through practice.
How surprised are you that those practices have happened? Because I know you've liked this ball club. And what do you do as a coach?
Well, you point it out to them. You point out that what isn't nearly sharp enough or good enough, and we need to get it corrected, and this is what needs to happen to get it corrected, and so, and that, you know, at the end of the day, though, you can't just put it on that. I don't, you know, hey, you know, they, you know, give them the credit. Maybe we'd have had great practices, they still would have done it to us. So at the end of the day, that's. I'm sure they probably didn't have just a stellar, everything's just perfect every practice either, you know. So, you know, through the course of a year, that can't be an excuse.
Coach, you spent a lot of time in Manhattan. When you look back on it, what are some things you took from your time there, maybe from Bill Snyder?
Well, a lot. You know, it's I had a, you know, great 7 years there. I've always, you know, thought back on those fondly, and a lot of great relationships and friends from being there, and you know, taken from it just, I guess, attention to detail and fundamentals of the game, and being physical, structure of what you do, being disciplined in it, and good structured football, fundamentals of tackling, running, you know, the basics, and there's no substitute for being physical and, you know, and playing the right way anyway. So those are a lot of things I know, you know, we always tried to do there.
Did it surprise you at all that Bill was able to come back in after he left and kind of rebuild that program again? into
No.
what it is now?
No, doesn't surprise me at all. So, and that's a compliment, because, of course, I know how Coach does it and works and was part of it for a long time.
Have you been in communication with him during this season?
No.
About his rebuild, or maybe since he's been back?
I'll catch up with them at midfield, I'm sure, but he, just like me, we don't have much time for short pleasantries, but
Can you illustrate the difference, maybe? I know you're not there now, but obviously he doesn't have to do quite the building job that he did in 89, 90, 91.
yeah, I don't know that anybody can really look back and could, unless you're at that time and you could see how really poor and rotten it was. There's no describing it. There really isn't. It was horrendous, and I hope no one there is mad. They know it. I mean, it was. So I can't say it any other way, you know.
Why
And
did you decide to take a job there if it was in?
I was young and naive, and I say this. I've said this to Coach before, and I believe it. I believe it helped me, because I never thought for a minute we wouldn't win. I had that much, you know, respect and faith in Coach Snyder, having worked with them all those years at Iowa, and all we did at Iowa was win. You know, we had taken Coach Snyder with Hayden Fry. I was a young player on the team, hadn't had a winning season in 18 years or so. In my third year, their third year there, we're in the Rose Bowl, Big Ten champions. So I thought that's what we do, you know, and so I felt when we got there, I truly, not a day went by that I didn't believe we'd win and win, you know, win in a big way as we went forward, and little by little it was happening. And I say that because sometimes there's, you know, if you've been jaded by this profession and in it maybe a little longer, you'd have looked at that situation and said, boy, good luck with that, you know. And some other guys wouldn't have wanted to come, or some may have left early. But I just felt all along, you know, that we would do it. And so I felt it helped, you know, being as young as I was and not having been in it so long.
Did you take the job before or after you visited Manhattan?
Oh, I took it. I was at Kent, and I was glad to have that job. And Coach Snyder called and said he had the secondary job for me, and I was squealing my tires heading that way. So I didn't even ask him what he was going to pay me. So, and again, we had been together. It's funny. Coach was running the offense. And as a GA and volunteer, I was running the scout team defense against them every day. So we really were, around each other, through practices like that a fair amount.
As he was making his way as a head coach after all those years at Iowa, were you struck by him daily in practice, by his attention to detail and his focus on,
Yeah, I remember he'd have Chuck Long up there to all hours of the night watching tape. I'd feel bad for him. I'd bring him food after training table. Coach would be up there. He'd go right from the field. He'd be in his jacket, still in his coaching stuff up there, already watching the tape. And I'd bring him food, and he'd probably never eat it, but he was up there, always working it. And again, I can remember Chuck Long always being up there, going back and forth through the tape too.
a lot of other guys, or just
A lot, Coach Snyder had the quarterbacks, and he was up there with Chuck mostly.
So many coaches from K-State have gone through your program here at OU. Could you talk about the influence and the impact, maybe indirectly, that Coach Snyder's had on Oklahoma and the guys that have been here?
Yeah, I think all the guys that I've hired, that through the years have also had a part of Kansas State. We all believe in a lot of the same things, as I said earlier, about, physical football and disciplined structures and what you're trying to do, and and that the basic fundamentals of the game, usually win for you. And as people can get elaborate schemes, but at the end of the day, it still gets down to those basic principles, and I think we all believe in that.
You say you don't get to talk to him during the season, but we're a little surprised, the media, that they're 7-0. And you talked to him, I know, in Dallas. Did he have an inkling that this team might be able to gel this way?
I don't know. I didn't ask him that.
You didn't ask him